Things off. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the American Family Insurance Dream Bank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. My name is Andy Frisky. I'm a senior coordinator here at Dream Bank, and on behalf of our entire team, so excited to have you with us all here today. And as we get started, we always like to learn where people are joining us from. So if you're comfortable, please go ahead and drop in the chat where you happen to be joining us from here today. I am in the heart of Madison, Wisconsin, right along the East Washington corridor, and very excited to introduce the featured speaker today. But before we go ahead and do that, would love to talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, and why we exist. So for those of you maybe who have attended our events in the past, maybe this is your first time, love to just take a couple moments and introduce you to DreamBank. So here at American Family Insurance, we believe that communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dream. And that's why we created DreamBank. It's an inspirational community destination and virtual experience that is dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to signature programs, there's something for every dreamer, and our offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, to overcome obstacles, and to stay motivated. But without further ado, I'd like to bring to the DreamBank stage Pat Miller, talking a little bit about AI within small business. So Pat, feel free to take it away.
Well, good afternoon. Technically, it's good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pat Miller, and you are here for another talk on AI. Oh, man, do we need another talk about AI? Well, you know, it turns out that we do, because a lot of the talks that are going around, some of them are informative, some of them are technical, and some are theoretical, but this one is about being applicable. What do you need to know about AI, and how can you start using it in a way that's going to benefit you and your small business? Because this look at AI is not just so we're completely up to speed and all the cool stuff it can do. I want this talk to be how we're going to save you time and make you money. Now, there is one big fat caveat with that. You want to save time. If you want to make money with AI, you're going to have to put in a little bit of work. So is that our deal? I can show you how you can unlock the time-saving and money-making abilities of AI as long as you're willing to put in just a little bit of elbow grease. Is that cool? Great. So 1 year ago today, this would have been a fun look into the future. But today, it's a real conversation that you should be talking to every single day. And if you're not paying attention with what you do as your small business, this could be a threat. Will AI take my job? Possibly. We're going to talk about it. And because we're in the same network, and because I'm a small business owner too, I feel somewhat of a responsibility to make sure that I am having a one-on-one conversation with you and let you know how important this technology is. Here's the bottom line. This is not an optional adaptation for you as a small business owner. If you think that you can stick your head in the sand and just wait for this AI craze to blow over, that's not how this is going to go. The phrase that I've heard that I think is brilliant is AI won't take your job, but someone using AI will take your job. Now, before we get into the bops and bizzles of AI, let's just take a minute to talk about why am I talking about it and who the heck am I? I'm a former broadcaster, I'm a TEDx speaker, and I'm a community founder, the Small Business Owners Community. I'm also a small business owner, and so is my wife. Abby runs Stories Frame Photography in Brookfield, Wisconsin. So both Abby and I know what it means for payday to be here and to not have enough in the account, to make decisions about our time and our money, to being overwhelmed and overworked but underfunded. We've been there. So I want to let you know that this conversation today is coming from a point of understanding the challenges that you're facing. And my mission in my real business, when I'm not talking to you, is running the Small Business Owners Community, which is a place where small business owners come together so we can put collaboration over competition, so we can earn an unfair advantage when it comes to growing our business. That's increasing sales, embracing new tech, looking into the challenges that are awaiting us. It's an online community with monthly meetups, including meetups in Madison, Milwaukee, and Kenosha, and our annual conference that I'll tell you more about later on in the presentation. But if you want to take a peek, it's at smallbusinesscommunity.com. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Get on with it, Baldy. Okay, I will. Calm down. It's a conversation about technology. It's about AI and an overview of what's going on. We're going to introduce you to generative AI and the major players that are there. We're also going to have a conversation about the hype and the fears that are going on with AI. And we're going to kind of share some ideas on how you can begin using it right away. Because the beauty of what's happening right now with generative AI is that with a credit card and a little bit of purpose, you can unlock this technology straight away. Then we're going to end with me looking into my crystal ball. Where is this all going? What is this going to be? And how should I be thinking about it right now? That's really important. And of course, we'll hold space for your questions, comments, and sarcastic remarks. Andy is here and he's going to jump in when a really good question gets asked or something really funny is shared. He's going to jump in. So we'll hear from him as we go on. But let's begin at the beginning. The state of AI is kind of like staring at the cars on the highway and trying to read the license plates. It's going so fast. It's being installed everywhere. Pop-Tarts now with AI, right? It's everywhere. And it seems like everyone is developing with it because pretty much everybody is. Foley and Lardner, they released an article that says $21.4 billion has already been invested in generative AI startups this year alone. So as a small business owner that's really concerned about you getting results, you don't need to do a dissertation on how this stuff works. You just need to know how to use it. I would be doing you a disservice if I only did a talk today on what it does and what it might be able to do in the future. The landscape is changing way too quickly. I want to teach you how to think about it, and I want to unlock some of those use cases. So when we talk about AI, maybe you've heard people say this. It's been around for a long time. AI has been baked into our video games, into our medicine, dentists, doctors, cancer treatments, financial trading has been running on AI for a long time. So have your search engines. They've all been using AI for a long time. But why is all of a sudden it's everywhere? Why is it such a big deal now? Well, generative AI has kind of changed everything. And the reason why, you don't need to learn a programming language to unlock it. It's a chatbot. You just talk with it. And being a former radio guy, you don't even have to have good grammar because I ain't got no good grammar. My grammar is terrible. My grammar's all over the place. You can literally just get close to what you mean, and it's smart enough to work with you. The other reason why it's really starting to turn heads is not only is it simple to use, it's actually helpful. This technology isn't just there to help you light your barbecue grill. It can actually save you time and money while you build your business. Plus, it's available in almost everything. So let's talk about where it's at. It's getting all the buzz. And I said to myself, how can I express what generative AI is to people in a very simple way? Have you ever heard the phrase, explain it to me like I'm 5? I typed into ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, explain to me generative AI like I'm 5, because I wanted to make sure I was explaining it very simply. And it said, okay, boop, answer. Like it comes out straight away if you've never played with it. This is the answer verbatim it gave me. Sure. Imagine you have a magical art box. Whenever you ask it to make a picture, tell a story, or create a song, it can do it. You just tell the box what you want, like a picture of a dragon playing basketball. And poof, it actually said poof because it's explaining it like it's 5. Poof, it makes it for you. This art box is like a robot friend. I want a robot friend that can create all sorts of fun things using its imagination. That's what generative AI is like. It's like a magical art box for making all kinds of cool stuff. Now, I shared that because first of all, I was blown away that it gave me an answer so quickly. Secondly, it did a pretty good job of explaining what generative AI is, but I also loved the tone. I told it to explain it like I was 5. Isn't that cool? Now, before we go on, I know the one thing you're thinking. Well, I want to see a dragon playing basketball. Of course you do. So I typed back into ChatGPT, hey, make a picture of a dragon playing basketball. And it created that in about 4 seconds. Very cool stuff. Now, you're not building a business where you need pictures of dragons playing basketball, but this is really important stuff. It's kind of like Siri and Alexa, but you can hold a conversation. It will search the web. It will make you pictures and a whole other slew of commands on demand. What are the name brands? Coke, Pepsi, and RC. RC, is that the third cola now? RC? I don't even know. Sprite? I don't even know. But these are the common names of generative AI that are out there. We've got ChatGPT. I'm a GPT guy myself. Google Gemini and Microsoft Copilot. So if you're on Windows, Copilot is baked in already to Outlook and Word and Excel. If you're a Gmail guy, my email goes through Gmail. Now Gemini is popping up all over the place. If you thought someday it'll be here, no, it's here. Because you're getting those pop-ups, right? Hey, would you like me to do this? Hey, would you like me to do that? Hello. It's kind of like Clippy, the old paperclip. It's popping up everywhere. And these three main generative AI tools, they're not even addressing the absolute mountain of software as a service programs that are out there. If there's something that you want to do, like this is true, I want to create a song from text. Suno. It's the most amazing website. I just launched a new podcast, not going to blatantly plug it here, but I just launched a new podcast. And I thought, you know what? I want some music that sounds like this jazz artist that I like. Would you create a song for it? Typed that in, and it came back with podcast music. And if you pay their $10 a month, you have rights to use that music. It's wild what types of software are out there if you want to go explore. I just went down a rabbit hole, but I thought you'd like to know. So this is soft-serve ice cream. This is self-serve, and it's affordable. So you can begin using this for like 20 bucks a month to get on the premium level of ChatGPT. And it's revolutionary because it's only a keystroke and a credit card away. We just have to begin playing with it. So with all of that set up, let's get to the next phase, because these conversations are not resolved. The entire world is not marching into this AI universe, all happy, because there are a lot of questions and there are some fears around AI. And I figured I just can't be the guy that shows up and says, just ignore all that other stuff. Just come. No, we have to have a for real talk about this. So what are the fears and questions around AI? Well, Wall Street, they're kind of nervous. The SEC chair has warned against what they're calling AI washing. So here's my service now with AI, makes my company a lot more valuable. Wall Street is saying, hey, be on the lookout for AI washing. Also, there are fears that AI will cause a takeover. There are fears that AI will cause mass unemployment. Well, jobs will be lost. A lot of the lower level office tasks, those are the ones most at risk. Then there's fears of hallucinations and errors. Now, this was really common when GPT first came out, because it would try and get you the answer that it was looking for, even if it had to make it up. That didn't inspire a lot of confidence. So it doesn't have a lot of common sense sometimes, and sometimes it will do something it calls a hallucination, where it makes up something. There's another thing that if you think deeply enough about what's happening here, if there is embedded bias in the data it was trained on, that embedded bias may still be there. And here's an example. If it was trained on data that says who gets a loan and who doesn't, that bias may still be there. So you got to keep your radar up for embedded bias in the results that you get. Another thing is your IP and privacy. And I don't have a good answer for this. I've been doing this talk and I need to get the proper answer for this, but it's something to be concerned about. IP and privacy, what happens if you upload your content into GPT? Do you lose your rights? I don't believe you do, but I'm not the authority on it. It's something that we got to get figured out. In fact, I partner with an organization called Professional Photographers of America, and they are battling big time about the images and the rights that you retain when you upload content to GPT. Also, news organizations are suing it left and right for being trained on their content. So there are uncertainties and there are fears. And all of this stuff makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable because this is all new. But I want to calm you for a second. Now, I'm older, as you can see by my silver hair and baldness. So if you're over the age of 40, like I am, barely over the age of 40, but if you've been on the planet for a minute, you've seen this movie before. A revolution fraught with fears that was going to change the world. No one knew what would happen. You've seen this. Computers. If you think back, the internet and computers, they gave us a bunch of big promises. And at the time, it was really hard to believe the promises they were making. Computers changed everything, so much so you can't even see people walking their dog. I see people walking their dog doing this the whole time, walking their dog. It's changed everything. But when it came out, the promises were, yeah, boy, the graphics are going to be great. And they looked like this. Track and field, by the way, greatest game ever. But we were told it was going to be lifelike, and we saw that. We were told we'd get instantaneous answers, and bidong, bidong, bidong. Those of you that did dial-up, you know what I mean, right? We were told that it would unlock the knowledge of the universe, and we were stuck in AOL chat rooms. We were told that don't worry about the data security, yet we were all watching movies and we were terrified that the Russians were going to launch our nukes. And then we were told, don't worry about it, it's secure. And it blew up the economy. We've been through this before. But history is happening again. And if you decided when the computer revolution came, yeah, I'm just not going to be a part of it, you would feel foolish. I share this story because I want to evoke the idea that it will be bumpy and we may have some stumbles along the way, but give it time because it's going to get really good. So let's talk about the new use cases. Let's talk about the oh wow moments that are absolutely coming. I use ChatGPT every single day, and you should too. ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot, whichever one you like, but I'm a GPT guy. It's kind of like I'm a Ford guy. I'm a GPT guy. So this is the chatbot that led the hype. OpenAI.com. I put down a credit card, $20 a month. I get their most advanced model, 4.0, and it's spectacular. And if you've never used it before, here's a quick demo on something it could do. Hey, I'm opening a lemonade stand for golfers. Give me 10 creative names. And in fewer than 5 seconds, it'll kick out 10 creative names. I particularly like green jacket juice on this list. I thought that was really great. And again, it knows that the words green jacket are associated with golf. It actually gave an example as to why it gave these names. I thought it was pretty darn creative. Now, this is not about the exercise of naming a lemonade stand, but if you've never used this before, think of every piece of creative content and thought that you need to make your business go. It's a lot. In the course of a morning, you might have to think of 6 or 8 or 10 different ways to say one thing. This will unlock your creativity and your ability to do more in less time. And what's the effect? What is the effect that you always have a partner with you to express yourself? Writer's block is dead. Done. How many times have you sat down to say, I need to send an email to my list. I need to put up a Facebook post. I need to, whatever it is. And you just don't feel it. You don't feel it. You don't have a great idea. Well, writer's block is now dead. You know why? You go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm really not feeling like being creative today, but I need to write an email to my list. And you can have it ask you questions. You could say to it, hey, what am I not considering about my business? What would a critic say about my business? What would an alien say if they came down from Mars and saw my business? What is something obvious that I haven't said yet to my followers? You can ask it that stuff and it will answer you, because the more you use it and the more that you upload into your account, the more it knows about you and your business. I've had it read all of my newsletters. I've had it read my event website. I've had it learn all about my community. It's now a collaborator with me. And you know how it is. If we had to write something and I started asking you some questions, you would connect things in a totally different way. Writer's block is dead. That is one of the biggest takeaways of what this is doing for you as an entrepreneur. Okay. So what can it do well right now? Today, right now, you finish with me, you go get your account, you start playing with it. What is it good at? Well, it's really good at editing and it's really good at summarizing. So Andy can take this recording and he can put it up in the cloud and you can have it get summarized into bullet points. What did Pat talk about? I missed the meeting. It can do all of that stuff straight away. You can upload a contract that it asks you to sign. Like someone sends you a contract. Hey, what should I be concerned about inside this contract? These types of things have changed the way that I work. Another thing to consider, and this is really good, the mobile app for ChatGPT has definitely changed the way that I work. So you download the mobile app, you click the little headphones, and you get a screen that looks like this, and now it's listening to you. And you talk with it. So I would say, I did a show for Andy at DreamBank, and I need to send him a thank you email. And dear Andy, it was really great to reconnect with you. Can't wait to see you at the conference this fall. It was just an honor to present for AmFam. I'd come back anytime. Now clean up my grammar, put that into something I can cut and paste and move on. Now, I don't know the exact pace, but for me, I can get through 3 or 4 times the amount of work if I speak it rather than try and type it. This hack right here, this one right here, helps me move so much faster. It's the transcription, or at least the recording conversation app inside GPT. Another thing that it does well right now is social media management. Now, why is social media management so effective? If you run a small business and you're trying to get the attention of the people that care about you, my hero, Jack Butcher, says the point of marketing is to find 1,000 ways to say the same thing. Because how many times can you talk about your golfer's lemonade stand? But with the power of GPT behind you, you can just come up with limitless amounts of examples and ways to engage the same thing every single day. Another thing, education. It's shockingly good at education. So I want you to go onto Google and I want you to put in, how do I whatever? And what happens when you do that? Sponsored, 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 sponsored. Maybe a website that has the answered SEO laden article, sponsor. Like, it's really hard to get answers out of Google right now, but it's surprisingly easy to get answers out of GPT or the AI tools. One example is I'm sitting on my couch, or I think it was Sunday, and I got the news alert that Biden dropped out of the race. And I thought, oh my gosh, President Biden dropped out of the race. I want to see if GPT knows about it. So I went in and said, hey, did President Biden drop out of the race and why? And it knew. My, whoa, it knew that day. And it gave me all of the facts, not the opinions. It's really good at education. Next time you need to know how to do something, try that instead of Google. And we also talked about naming and brainstorming. It's really good at that. We do that all the time inside our idea slams. We use it for naming and brainstorming. So that way you can find new angles and new ways to say something. And if you feel like you're just stuck, this will get you unstuck. Now, those are the big picture things. What are the things it's just good at right now? But I want to zoom in on you. So in a moment, I'm going to give you some questions. I'll be the questioner. This is where, as Andy said, I want you to get out your notepad and your pencil because we're going to try and find some use cases for you. Okay? So maybe there were some ideas that were given to you from what I just shared. But now, what do you need to do right now to unlock the value inside the generative AI opportunities? The first thing is, now this is where you start with a pen and a paper. Because you would think you would start with some website or some, generative AI tool. No, unlocking the opportunity here starts with a pen and a paper. So I'm going to ask you some questions. And this is where you lean into the doing the work part of this conversation. Pen and a paper, here come the questions. And I'm even going to give you like 30 seconds. So this is going to get totally uncomfortable if you don't actually write this stuff down. Are you ready? What tasks do you perform on a repetitive basis, daily, weekly, monthly? Now, I want you just to dump on the piece of paper all of the tasks, daily, weekly, monthly. What do I do? Send an email to my newsletter. I got to respond to a bunch of social posts. I need to email my best clients. See what I'm saying here? I need to just list all the stuff you have to do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Okay? I'm going to give you a new question in a second. Okay. And if you're watching this on a replay, you've got an advantage because you can pause it, dump, and then come back. But in the sake of time here, I don't want to waste it. So we're going to move on to the next question. Here's the next question. And this is the stuff that's going to really help you. So you really should take advantage of this. The next question. Of the tasks that you do in your business, which ones take more time than you wish? I do this and I avoid it because it takes like 3 hours to do it. And it's just such a pain. I don't want to do that anymore. What tasks take more time than they should? I could list like 10. Got a few? Again, these probably are just flying out of you, just like, oh. Okay, here's another one. How do you generate content for your business? Do you do lead magnets, blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, TikTok videos, reels? How do you generate content for your business? Okay, 2 more questions and we're going to move on. And again, if you're writing this stuff down, I hope that you're writing as quickly as you can and you're getting some stuff down here. If you're sitting there saying, harumph, Pat is stupid, I can't help you. I am, but I can't help you. Okay, 4th question. You ready? If you had an administrative assistant for 40 hours a week, what would you immediately just give to them? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Help. What would you give to them immediately if you had an administrative assistant? And every small business owner I've ever met has that list. Oh God, I just cannot do another week of this. Okay, got an administrative assistant. What would you give them? Okay, we're going to do one more question and then we're going to move on. If, bing, you get a partner in the business, suddenly there's 2 of you. What would you do to explode your revenue? So to ask that in a better way, if you could only focus on the stuff that grows the revenue and everything else would be done by this make-believe partner, what would you do? If all you had to do was focus on selling more stuff, what would you do? Now, why do I ask all those questions in the way that we ask them? Each one of them, I'm going to pretend my microphone is GPT here. Each one of them comes at GPT from a different angle because each one of them is trying to get you to think of the things that take too long, that you do in a repetitive manner, that could unlock its ability to help you move forward. When you look at that list, you've now found things that you're doing way too frequently or things that you wish you could get rid of. These are the issues that you need to start delegating to GPT and playing with. Here's the other thing that you should be doing straight away. Start talking with it every day. I don't mean once a week. I don't mean once a month. I mean every day. You can talk to it about what's on your mind. You can talk to it about something somebody else said. You can talk to it about what you're feeling. Like you can talk to it about anything. Now, I prefer to talk to it. I literally talk with it. But if you prefer to type, you can type. And when you talk to it on a daily basis, you'll just start asking it to do stuff. And it's a habit that will become more and more a part of your life. So I had this nagging task that was on my list. We're doing our small business owners community conference. I needed to create swipe copy. You've made swipe copy before. Basically, here's the propaganda for my conference. Partners and sponsors, will you share it with your people? Swipe copy. And I didn't, it just was going to take all day. I thought, hey, ChatGPT, search this website, and I want you to act like an expert referral marketer, and I want you to create the swipe copy for my sponsors and my partners. And you know what? It did like 75% of the work because it did scan my website, and it did give me emails they could cut and paste, and it did give me LinkedIn posts that they could use, and it did tell me the blanks I needed to fill in. So in less than 10 minutes, I went from, I don't want to do this to, whoa, I'm almost done. That would not have happened if I literally was not talking to it every single day. Talk to it every single day. And as you do that, your use cases, they will begin to emerge. You can get to a point when you have back-to-back appointments because you're not having to clean up and do a bunch of work between your next coaching session, if you're a coach, for example. These things will start to accelerate as you open up the opportunity of collaborating with it. Now, this is the part of the talk that most people are hungry for. What can I do with this? So I thought I would add some more bonus use cases. So I'm a small business owner. What can I do with this? So I said, okay, ChatGPT, give me 10. I think it was 10. I forget the count. I think I said 10. Maybe it was 8. I don't know. We'll find out. Give me some more use cases. Website analysis. Put in your business's website and say, I want you to look at this website as though you are one of my ideal customers. What is on there? Does this make sense? What's missing? What should I add? What should I take away? And it will. Competitor analysis. Do the same with the people that are competing with you. Compare my website to evilpatmiller.com and tell me, how am I doing against evilpatmiller.com? What is evilpatmiller.com doing better than I am? And it will come back and you can say, put it in a table, and it will tell you who does what. It's very cool. You can have it do an ideal customer review. I think my product is best suited for this type of person. Look at my stuff and look at this flyer and look at this proposal. Does that match? You can ask it, hey, my checkout page of my conference or my t-shirt business or my lemonade stand, I'm not converting. People are putting the items in the cart and they're leaving. Why? Hey, I've got a big business proposal. This is a big one. Oh my gosh, if AmFam says yes to this, I'm going to love the DreamBank and make $1 billion. But before I send it to Andy, take a look at it. What am I missing? What should be in there? What do you think Andy would say? It'll do it. It's crazy. This one I love. Please steal this one. Please. I'm begging you to steal this one. Here's my ideal customer. Here's what I do. I want to create a quick win class for them. And I'll give you an example that makes sense. Because if you have an ideal customer and a product, by 5 o'clock today, it could be online for sale or as a lead magnet. And here's how it would work. I'll use my friend Elsie as the example. One of my good friends, Elsie Flinard, the mayor of Podcast Town, one of the best guys in the country. He teaches people how to build their business through podcasting. Well, a quick win class may be, here are 10 ways to ask better questions in your next podcast interview. So you go to ChatGPT saying, I run a podcasting company. I want to attract people that do podcasts. Give me a quick win class. And it might give you a list of 10. Let's say the thing it gives you is how to ask better questions. Cool. What are those 10 things that should be in the class? It'll tell them. Great. Write a script that I can read with those 10 things. It'll do it. Awesome. Then you can go to synthesia.com, put in your credit card for like $30 a month, and it will give you an AI talent to read that script as a video. Okay, now you got a video of someone reading your script. Cool. You go back to GPT. I need a landing sales page. What should be on there? It'll give it to you. So then by 4:30, you cut and paste the stuff that it typed. You take the MP4 video that Synthesia made for you. You put it into the email confirmation when someone gives you the email address. And by 5 o'clock, you post on LinkedIn the LinkedIn post that GPT wrote for you, introducing your new class. And it's done. Now, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, you could always read it and cut out the Synthesia AI talent stuff, but it's kind of cool. And it's really cool. Like, it's really cool. But all of this is possible today, right now. Quick win class up and on the web. Please steal this because it's really cool. The last quick win that I'll share is a pricing strategy consultation. So I'm going to sell my services to Andy at DreamBank. Here's what I'm thinking I'm going to charge. Give me some feedback. Or what's a way that I could structure this in a more strategic way that might be easier to grow? But I want you to be my ideal client and help me build this pricing strategy so that way I can make more money now and in the future. So all of these little questions, all of these little use cases, they're just make believe. But I'm trying to give you an idea of some of the cool stuff you can do when you start playing with this. And it all starts with talking to it on a daily basis and knowing where you're stuck and knowing what takes too long and what you're doing over and over again. Now, I said that I want to take some time up-leveling your thinking a little bit. So we're going to do that portion now. So I hope you got at least one thing out of that portion of where you can save time and money. Let's talk about how our level thinking goes kind of up a little bit. So I saw this amazing talk, a guy named Todd McLeese, Innovation Outpost, blew my mind. I had hair before I saw him speak. And afterwards, now this is the result. That's how good he was. And he broke down what work is. He broke down that work is made up of a bunch of tasks. And so many people that poo-poo, can I say poo-poo at DreamBank? I just did. There's so many people who poo-poo, which is just fun to say, AI, because it won't do it all for you automatically. And he broke down the tasks that make up your work in 3 steps. This is the part that just made me go, no way. He talked about the automated tasks. These are the things that it will do for you automatically. But then the augmented tasks. This is where the opportunity is. And then the third part is truly human. So let's break those down. Automated. I tell it what to do and it does it. I don't have to touch it. Or it knows what to do and it does it. I didn't have to tell it. There are more automatic tasks coming. But these augmented tasks, that's where the opportunity is right now. I want to create a class. What should I create? I want to write a script. Write it for me. I want to do this. Do it for me. It is working with you. It is augmenting your workload. You're moving faster and doing more because it exists. That's where the opportunity comes. And more, this automatic stuff, this automated stuff is going to happen. Those will be the oh wow moments. But we're living in this augmented world right now, and that's not a bad thing if we embrace it. Now, we should talk about the truly human tasks because that's where your business will live. Because if we go back to this slide, if you take what you do for a living and think, wait a minute, what I do for a living, Pat was just talking about ways that I could have a computer do it, not me. Am I doing truly human stuff? To protect your small business moving forward, we need to do more of what can't be replaced by a machine yet. So if you are a social media copywriter, you probably should mix in some content strategy and try and move more of your businesses that direction. If you're a podcast editor, maybe that becomes talent coaching or monetization strategy. See where I'm going with this? Whatever it is that you do, I would be encouraging you to get upstream towards truly human work. Because as you do that, you're going to insulate your business moving forward. Because if your business is a monthly recurring fee of $1,000 to write someone's social media posts, it's only a matter of time. And I don't say that because I want to be bombastic. And I don't say that because I don't care about you. I say that precisely because I do care about you. You know your clients. Do you think they want to give you $1,000? No. If they can get 80% of what you do for free or $20 a month, they're absolutely going to do so. So you need to think about the work that you provide and how truly human it is, and go towards the truly human part of what you do. Now, where is this going? And I hope that we're filling up the chat with questions, and I hope you're throwing tomatoes at me because I said something that made you mad. I just hope that I made you think. I want to get you thinking about this stuff. But this is the big finish. We're going to talk about where it's really going and what work is going to look like, I think, sooner rather than later. Because this is how AI will be a future team member, not a tool. Today, this is the work triangle. This is the pile of work. At the bottom, you've got your results. Who gets the results? Well, my contractors and my employees. And then at the top is me, the business owner. So there's me working with contractors and employees that are using AI, or at least they better be using AI. And as we go through, the results come out the bottom. Terrific. This is where we need to get to, like, hopefully, as soon as you close your little browser window here, hopefully this is where we're at now. You saw this talk, you realized the opportunity, you were going to work with AI to direct your contractors and your employees to generate better results. I hope that's where we got to today, because it's really critical. But here's where it's going. Ooh. Okay. Now take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. That doesn't mean the Terminator is at the top of your triangle. What this means is it won't be long until you start your day with a conversation with your business's AI. And it's going to say, hey, Pat, your customer acquisition cost on your Facebook ads, they were out of the bounds of what you set. So I made a few adjustments to bring it back down in line. Hey, Pat, you haven't contacted your number one client, Andy at DreamBank yet. So I arranged lunch for you guys for next Wednesday. Now, that might sound like space age weirdness, right? I'm telling you, your friend in your little computer screen, you're going to think back and say, oh my gosh, Pat told me that was going to happen. It's going to happen sooner than you think. And I'm sharing it now so you can get the, oh wow, out of the way and get ready for the bring it on. Because this is coming. This is where we're going. And you're going to be a better business owner that if you embrace it, who's going to make a lot more money and have more free time to golf. Because for me, that's what it basically comes down to. How do I get more time to golf? I have the Terminator run my business, more golf time, winning. So the future of AI is an active participant in your decision making. It has such a great ability to catch the things that you overlook or provide insights you didn't even consider. And as it goes from passive to proactive, as it becomes more automated, the impact, the real-time impact on your business is going to go through the roof. And it's going to be a driving force for how you build your small business now and into the future. So we'll finish here, then we'll take some questions. I bet you didn't think you were going to get homework today. Oh, maybe we haven't met yet. Now you've got homework. Yeah, you get homework. Okay. But you can have a snack after school because we got to have a snack before we do our homework. First thing is do something. Just do something. We've all gone to conferences. We've all gone to talks. We fill up a notebook with a bunch of stuff. We close it and we never open it again. Don't be that guy. Don't be that gal. Do something with the little spark of curiosity that hopefully you found today. The second thing is I want you to commit. Today is the last day without having a daily AI meeting. Open the app, have a conversation with it. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Every day, have a conversation or type with it every single day. And the last thing I'm asking you to do is to think, even if this is you're on a run this afternoon and you think about it for 5 minutes, but I want you to think, how can my business get upstream towards more truly human tasks? And maybe you're already there. Maybe you're a chiropractor. Okay, cool. There are parts of being a chiropractor that aren't truly human, but the part of being doing the thing that's pretty truly human. That's your homework. So I'll leave you with this. First, this newsletter is called Superhuman. I get nothing out of referring it. I'm not a referral partner or anything weird like that. But Superhuman is a tremendous newsletter that you can stay up to date on all the cool new stuff. So if you really want to learn about this stuff, I find the best way to learn about it is just to be surrounded by it as much as I can. And Superhuman does a really good job of keeping you up to date on the things that are happening. So when you see something that captures your curiosity, you can follow up on it. The other thing is, I mentioned our conference that's happening in downtown Milwaukee, October 16th and 17th. We're going to do an hour presentation on AI, and it won't be this one. We're going to bring in AI experts to continue the conversation on how you get more out of AI with your small business. We're also basically doing 2 days of collaboration, covering all the stuff that you need to know: sales, mindset, marketing, delegation. Dan Martell wrote the book, Buy Back Your Time, masterpiece. All of this stuff is happening at our conference, October 16th and 17th. And if you thought this was great and you're like, yeah, I want a bunch of small business owners on my side so I don't have to figure out all this stuff by myself, that's why the small business owners community exists. Snap the QR code, take our 2-week free trial, come to the Idea Slam this afternoon at 4 o'clock and be around a bunch of people that are collaborating to help each other win. It's why I'm on the planet. It's why I get to do stuff like this today. And it's really my purpose to help you get further with your small business. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation today. I'm open to your questions, comments, and sarcastic remarks because that's always the most fun part. Andy, let's bring you back on screen, my friend. What's going on?
Mostly good questions, not too many sarcastic remarks, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So this first question comes from Heather. My challenges with AI so far have been that it is so siloed, quote unquote, you have to enter everything from scratch in a separate place. Do you have any suggestions for this? I see the real value being once it is integrated with calendaring and other day-to-day tools and functions. So the question is, any suggestions on how to not essentially enter everything in manually from scratch?
I've found, because I can totally relate with that, I found that by picking one and sticking with it, that's a way that I found good momentum. Because what ends up happening is AI never forgets. So in my GPT, I can go in and say, hey, didn't we talk about the thing? and it knows, hey, we did talk about the thing, and here's the conversation we had about the thing. So I would recommend try them all, find the one that feels good, and just go with it. And eventually we'll have to change someday. But if you're a GPT person, work with GPT, and it's kind of a slow build, but it's remarkable how effective it will be once it's already reviewed your website. It's already looked at your proposals. It's already seen the conversation you had with your number one client because you downloaded it, made a transcription, and uploaded it to GPT. And now it knows everything about your number one client from the conversation that you had. It kind of just builds momentum on itself when you pick one and stick with it.
Thanks for that. Next one comes from Heather again. So Pat, for the compare my stuff to blank, how do you direct it to what it is comparing to? Do you upload a document? Do you enter a URL? And the example that they use, podcast example, how do you make it sound like you and not like AI?
It will start to sound like you the more you give it. So one tip on that, one of my former marketing agencies that I was working with, they did something really smart. I hosted a podcast for a year. They uploaded the transcripts of my podcast every time I released one. So it would sound more and more like me because it was learning to talk like me because it was being trained on the words and the phrases that I used. So that's one way that you can absolutely do that. The other thing is, remember when I said in the presentation, explain it to me like I'm 5, and it went into the mode of being a person talking to a 5-year-old? You can direct it to take on a personality. So I want you to be a software as a sales or software as a service salesperson. And I want you to rewrite this contract as they would write it. Or I want you to review the best practices around pricing this type of product. Or I want you to behave like a Wall Street trader, whatever it is. You can tell it what role you want it to take on. And then the other thing you can do is you can ask it to show its results. You can say, give me the links to where you found this data. And I've had it like buck, like it won't do it. Like, no, you need to give me your links. And then it will show the articles that it's pulling from. At least it seems to do that more often than not. So those are a few ways you can get after what you're going for.
Next question comes from Susan. Do you need to purchase a subscription with an AI engine? Does it keep your content private?
Good question. Like I said in the presentation, I'm not really clear on the keeping your content private part. I've heard it both ways, and I don't want to be on AmFam stage and say, I know it's this way, because I don't know it's this way. So I don't want to make a claim one way or the other. So that's something I wish I knew better. So I'm sorry I can't answer that part. As far as paying for it, if you're a Windows user, Copilot, at least the introductory tools of Copilot are baked in. Same if you're a Gemini, Google platform user, there are some Gemini features that are there. ChatGPT offers a free version that you can use, but to get the premium version and unlock all of the goodies, it's $20 a month. And for me, time is money. That $20, you'll never miss it once you begin using it on a regular basis.
Next question from Drew. Many digital marketing enthusiasts are excited about AI's ability to create massive amounts of content. But digital marketing is already exploding with content and far surpassing human consumption and attention spans. As AI is making it easier to generate and automate content generation, how will it be more effective without expanding human content consumption in a similar manner?
It's a great question. And I don't think it will make it more effective as we drown everyone with more stuff. That's why I think engagement is probably as good of a strategy, if not better, than creation right now. I think there's a role for someone to go to market as the number one fan of their target audience. So I want to sell stuff to construction guys or gals or roofers or plumbers or electricians. I'm going to be the number one fan of my target audience, and I'm going to engage with every single thing that they do. Because yes, you can use AI to engage. There's tools out there to do that, which makes it even worse. But if you're a content creator, you know this, it's really hard to get attention. It already was hard to get attention. And now that it's even easier to make content, just making more stuff isn't necessarily going to get you the attention you want. But being someone's number one fan, I love that strategy right now.
Next question. Are you a bot, perchance, Pat, trying to lure us humans to march unwittingly into the matrix? There's the sarcastic comment. Thank you.
Well, I would tell you if I was a bot, I'd have hair. So that's how you know that I'm not a bot. Because if I was going to make a bot, I'd have hair.
So confirmed, Pat is not a bot.
Not a bot.
All right, well, that concludes all the questions that we had come in at this time. We'll give it a few more moments here just because we do have a couple more minutes. Pat, here at DreamBank, we're a community that is built up of fellow fearless dreamers. And one question I always like to ask our presenters, what's one piece of advice you have for someone who's actively pursuing a dream right now?
Don't quit. Don't quit. I heard a quote the other day that you get to choose your hard. You get to choose your hard. It's really hard to work for someone else, and it's really hard to build your own thing. Choose your hard. And my belief is that life is too short to build somebody else's dream. I did my TEDx on it, if you want to go look it up. We only get to do this once. One time. That's it. I don't want to look back and think, wow, there were all these great things I really wanted to do. But, the 401k match was just too sweet. You only get to do this once. So my tip is to get really clear on what you're on the planet to do. And if you've got a side hustle until you can do it straight away, I'm not judging at all. But there's something that's calling you. There's something that's so important to you, something you will regret that you not do. Find a way and fight for that. The other thing I would say is bring people around you that understand. You can't be around a bunch of W-2 employees while you're trying to build your solopreneur or small business dream and have them understand, because they don't understand. Oh man, why do you got to work on Saturday? Well, because I'm a wedding photographer. Or why are you so excited about that sale? Because I get to pay the rent this month. They don't get it, and nor should they get it. They get a check every 2 weeks, and good for them. But if you're going to build a small business, it is so hard. Choose your hard. You're going to fight for your dream. You're going to fight for somebody else's dream. You get to pick.
I love it. Thanks so much for that, Pat, for those wonderful words of wisdom, those insights, all the information in regards to AI and how it can impact your small business. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day here to join us. The question came through a bunch. Is this being recorded? Yes, this event is being recorded, and I will share it out to the email address you use to register, and will also be on DreamBank's YouTube page, which I'll make sure that you folks have that link as well too. With that being said, those are all the questions that have come in. I want to thank you again, Pat, for this. Thank you all for joining us here today, and we will go ahead and cap it there and see you all next time. Take care.